Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. Welcome to those of you who are new. This is, of course, Pro Wrestling Logic, where we discuss a variety of um, wrestling related content. Over 2,500 of these. June 2nd, 1990, WCW Saturday night is our broadcast for this particular episode here. Got over 2,500 of these in your archive here for your listening pleasure. We continue to add as often as we can. Flying Brian Pillman and Barry Horowitz is the opening for this particular program. Pillman has been doing the tag team thing with his friend the Z-Man for a while, and ultimately Pillman actually almost overshoots on a dropkick. Deep arm drags by Pillman. Pillman managing to get a good run here. Horowitz managing to kind of pull things around on a basic level, and Pillman gets a couple of chops off, high cross body, and eventually gets the victory here. Ric Flair basically is out next, who of course the leader of the Horsemen, talking with Rocky King. Rocky King promising that a nature of someone to help is going to come along. Junkyard Dog is here in the beginning of things. Junkyard Dog Clearinghouse on Ole Anderson and Ric Flair in a suit. Amazing run there. And laying out Flair, of course, that leads to a Clash of the Champions run with Flair and the Junkyard Dog. Not a good match by any stretch of the imagination at the time, but we'll get to those clashes sooner rather than later. Anyway, Mean Mark Callis, otherwise known as The Undertaker, facing off against an enhancement talent at the time. Paulie Dangerously is the nature of the manager of Callis. Callis, of course, becoming The Undertaker. Big leg drop and a running boot, among other things. Callis is in immensely tremendous shape, back suplex, and trying to get everything he can out of the process of this squash match. I don't necessarily know why anybody would think that he didn't have it, but that is what was thrown at him. He doesn't have the, I guess you'd say the better part of things there. And then we go to Larry Santo falling prey to the heart punch, among other things, on top rope dive, and off we go. Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong against the Galaxian and Joe Kazana. Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong, of course, your wild-eyed Southern boys who are, I wouldn't say the best team in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but a good, solid tag team of kind of a Southern nature, which WCW still being a predominantly Southern veined promotion kind of there. Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong still managing to be one of the best teams in the area at the time. Deep arm drags by Smothers. Smothers leads the majority of things, and Armstrong comes in and kind of gets they work over the arm for a bit. Pretty aggressive throughout the match, and the elevated drop kick gets a win for the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys. Of course, Southern Boys, as you know, go on to face teams like the Freebirds, among other things. Hype for Vader coming into the territory is kind of up next, and then we see Stan Hansen says he's going to run everybody off, continuing to hype his run towards gold, and wanting to take out Lex Luger, wanting to take out Tommy Rich, and Jim Ross is rather mundane, looking at his becoming somebody of holding a microphone for Stan Hansen. Not exactly what he wants to be doing. Anyway, Stan Hansen then has a squash style match. Big suplex from the outside to the inside, managing to get as much of a run as he can. Hansen, of course, doing the majority of his work in Japan, and certainly a guy who manages to do what he can to, I guess you'd say, eradicate things and ultimately getting things in a positive direction for himself. Again, Stan Hansen kind of taking out whoever's in front of him wherever he can, and getting a win with the big lariat. Then we get Doug Furness and the Green Shadow up next here. Of course, Doug Furness doesn't really stay around very long and manages to get kind of sort of in a bit of a predicament. Early Furness kind of wrestling on the more on the mat, takes his man down, tries to get the arm bar. Green Shadow in a full green bodysuit with a yellow mask. I don't know who dressed him. Certainly not somebody with high hopes for his career. Anyway, Furness, the big thing for him is that satellite dropkick that he does very well and goes all the way around, lands on his belly, and gets a victory there. Then we go to another in the squash match and winning with a dropkick. Think about that. Very rare. Then we go to another squash match related deal here as we get to a another tag as Michael P.S. Hayes out there, believe with Jimmy Jam Garvin at the time. Yeah, Freebirds, not exactly. I guess they would be relatively new here, of course. Not your original Freebirds, but kind of a, I guess you'd say, modified version of the Freebirds or something such. Anyway, basic match, Garvin and Hayes in a squash here. Garvin and Hayes, the fabulous Freebirds, kind of the latest in deal. Tim Parker and Jerry Price are their adversaries here. And ultimately, that match goes probably longer than it should. Certainly, a one-sided squash match is all that it ends up being. But the Freebirds are good at filling that time and do so effectively, efficiently, and successfully, getting themselves into a situation where the cinch-up on the DDT is all they need, and they get a victory here. Then we go to promises of better things or bigger things from the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys, Steve Armstrong and Tracy Smothers. They basically promise the South will rise again. They're Southern by the grace of God and winners all the way. Arn Anderson cuts promo where he talks about the aggression for the Horsemen, the betrayal of Sting, and ultimately that the Horsemen are going to be one of the best foursomes in wrestling forever, as long as they want to be. Jim Cornette out next with the U.S. Tag Team Champions. They are the the Midnight Express. Of course, Midnight Express here in a enhancement match with a couple of guys who probably are grateful to be in there with the Midnight Express because it's always a night off. Bobby Eaton takes the armbar a good bit from their adversaries here. This is Pat Rose and Lee Scott are their opponents for this particular day, and obviously the Midnight Express, again, they can draw a good match out of enhancement talent. That says something when you have that particular skill set. But Bobby Eaton takes the majority of position of selling, which is pretty much his thing. Stan Lane comes in and ultimately gets a good run here in terms of things, and lots of basic punch kick stuff, and Lane comes in with some double team maneuvers. Then we go to Tommy Rich coming back. Tommy Rich, of course, your former NWA champion. Ned Bradley is his opponent for the day. Rich kind of is stalling a little bit. Does manage to get top rope elbow among other things, and then hits a drop kick under the chin. Then we see Tommy Rich come at it with a Thez press and getting a victory here. Sting is out there, and he's talking about being done with being subservient to the Horsemen. Sting is ready to go, and he continues to be kind of really aggressive. Then we got Doom in an enhancement match here. Doom, of course, Ron Simmons and Butch Reed, basically, very dominant early and often. and they kind of are the, I guess you'd say, most pushed tag team at the time in the company. They are in a quick squash match, as it were. This happening to be the, you know, just a quick run and less than 3 minutes. Ron Simmons gets the spine buster. Then we go to a Steiner Brothers um, promo, and ultimately that's pretty clear. Then we go to a Road Warriors match. Maybe this is the end of the Road Warriors contract. I don't remember seeing them much after this, but a Road Warriors regular match here. And that is, of course, Hawk and Animal with Paul Ellering defeating Barry Windham and the NWA TV champion Arn Anderson with Sid Vicious. Disqualification, Vicious and only Anderson interfere in the bout, initially ending with Vicious attacking the Road Warriors. Road Warrior Hawk, but the match continued. Anderson appealing it ringside later with the Vicious, and Anderson interfered, finally ending in a countout. After the match, Sting and the Junkyard Dog and Paul Orndorff makes the save. I don't know. It just feels like the match is a complete cluster in a lot of ways, but ultimately it is what it is. And also, the match itself is good. The finish is wonky, so proof that NWA WCW still had wonky finishes all that time ago. Again, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, obviously known for being, you know, kind of ready to tee up on people and all of that. Hawk and Arn Anderson. Anderson, phenomenal. Just watch his facials. Watch how he backs people into the corners. Simple stuff. Also, pretty amazing things like Barry Windham with a power slam here. And Animal kind of kicks out and launches his man into the lights, so to speak, and then we continue to go with the double down with Animal and Wyndham, and then ultimately the Horsemen do the run-in, Junkyard Dog and Sting cleaning house, obviously setting up Sting to be the man to defeat Ric Flair about a month later, but that's certainly there as well. A singles match for Scott Steiner will clear things out. Mark Kyle is his opponent. Mark Kyle eventually becomes Killer Kyle in Smoky Mountain Wrestling a few months later, but there we go with that. Steiner hits a body slam on the floor, among other things, and manages to get a victory with the Frankensteiner, Rick Steiner on the outside, still managing to do a little bit extra. And again, beginning the tease for the feud between the Rock and Roll Express and Doom begins here. So we will be back with more right after this.